Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how or why, but I'm not arguing. They may not know wheel, but does anyone?
Hi, and welcome to We Don't Know WLF1. I'm Anne.
And I'm Grace. We're two sisters who fell in love with Formula One. And now every weekend, we force our family to listen to us talk about Formula One and listen to the Dutch national anthem.
Usually in the opposite order of that.
It's Brazil race week.
What a spectacular race weekend as a whole. Like, in my opinion, best sprint of the year. Great sprint.
Great sprint.
And awesome race. So much fun.
I on the last episode, I think I said I was thinking about switching up the way I was watching races. So this race, I watched the sprint, but I didn't watch them quite as carefully as I normally do, where I'm like zoned in. I may have been doing a little reading in between, but I watched the post-race show and I think that I enjoyed that.
I have not had a chance to watch the post-race show this week because I had
knew
an
you were going to
orchestra
say that
concert this afternoon, so with the timing of the concert, we had rehearsal beforehand, and if the race had started on time, I would have been leaving for rehearsal with maybe a couple of laps left of the race. And as it was, I think I had to leave when there was 15 laps left of the race. And so I got to rehearsal and we started rehearsal a little late. And so I was just constantly checking my phone for what happened to Checo. But then when I got back today, I finished watching the race. I've not had a chance to watch the post-race show though. Was it good?
It was good. I have nothing too intense to say about it. Actually, what happened is I watched
Carlos
it and then I think
the F1 Academy girls.
No. Yeah. So the problem was I watched it and then I remembered that you were like, go back and watch Austin. So I did. So that's what I'm remembering now. But also, I don't feel like I saw Carlos when I watched Austin. But also, maybe I wasn't tuned in enough to that.
I swear he is on there.
Pierre Gasly was there.
Carlos was too.
Do I have to go back and watch it a second time?
It's up to you.
Yeah, but sprint, great. Poor Lando, so close, but so far.
I have to say, during the race, I got so excited to see Lando actually fighting for the win and to have someone actually challenging Max in the win.
Yeah.
It was so much fun compared to just so much of this year. We've just known that Max is going to win and everything else behind him is very interesting and lots of fun. But it's just oh, yeah, Max is winning.
Yeah. And I would say today's race, very interesting, lots of fun. I loved the commentators being like, Lando really kept up with Max. He was only 8 seconds away. And it's like, okay, in a way, yes. And compared to the rest of the season, yes.
I mean, Fernando and Checo were 20 seconds behind them.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm just saying, our definition of a close race has gotten a little wild. But yeah, let's start at the well, I don't care where we start, but I want to start at the beginning of this race because it was so I had turned it on before the race started, before they did their little lap.
Mm-hmm.
One, I feel like it started late today. Maybe I was totally crazy, but I feel like usually I turn on the TV and it's on.
They started the formation lap right at, my time. It was 11 my time, so it would have been 9 your time.
Yeah, that's when I turned it on, but I felt like they were showing a special thing about, I feel like it started 5 minutes late.
Qualifying started late.
I didn't watch qualifying, and I think that was probably the most exciting part of the weekend.
But no, I think that was sprint qualifying. Or what one was it?
Qualifying, I think.
No, it
Because
was
wasn't
qualifying. It's
qualifying the
qualifying.
one with weather. Yeah.
Because I was watching it at school because we had a half day on Friday for the end of the quarter. And so I was just grading stuff in my room and put on qualifying.
Yeah. So today, the
Mhm.
race starts. They're doing
Did
their
you?
qualifying lap. Suddenly I look up and Charles is in a wall, and I'm like, is this from a different race?
I know. I felt so awful
It's
for
not
him.
funny.
It's
What did he say? Why do I have such bad luck?
yeah, something to that effect. I put it in the group chat, but it was something to that effect with more expletives.
I don't think he swore.
Oh, he definitely did.
He's a nice young man. No.
But,
Yeah, so bit of a troll. It was like the one weekend that I was like, maybe he'll win the race, because I felt like it was good luck that he was not on pole. And honestly, I mean, I think Carlos had issues with his clutch, but like his pace was fine. So I feel like Charles could have at least been getting a podium.
yeah, probably. Yeah, it would probably have
And
been very tight
instead,
between him and Lando.
he was, and maybe Charles being out of there really led the way for Lando to be unobstructed.
True.
Yeah,
His
so
Lando's start was insane.
immediately Charles is out. Then the first lap, yeah, Norris, incredible, makes up like 6 places. That's
Mhm.
not true. Did he though?
Not 6. He went from 6th
Made up.
to 2nd, I think.
Okay, so pretty impressive. We get the 2 Haas's and Albon 3 wide. There is not space. Racing incident. That's what I'm going to call it. Albon's out. Magnussen's out. A wheel hits Danny Ricciardo. And who else did the wheel hit? Oscar?
Well, Oscar had
both-
to repair his car in the garage. So
Yeah.
he was hit by the crash somehow.
Was he? I think Oscar got rear-ended by Magnussen or something, or Hulkenberg. And then Danny was literally hit by like a loose tire.
You see his onboard where you can watch the tire fly over him?
No.
They
but
showed it on the
crazy.
broadcast. It was insane.
I was reading. I was in and out. As soon as that red flag came down, I was like, I've got 1 year to this.
Yeah, the start was truly crazy.
Start incredible. Loved it. That's what I call racing. Then because it got red flagged, I was like immediately like, Danny's out of this. Oscar's out. But then because it got red flagged, they were able to repair. They were never really back in the race because they were literally a lap down.
That they could repair their car and keep going, but they were a lap down from everyone starting out. Like, how awful
that
was
that? Too harsh, I think. I think they should have just been allowed to start from the pit lane. Yes. Like from the pit exit.
Yes. I want to know more. I want to understand more the like why and how they created that rule, because it really sucks.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting too because those 2 especially were truly like innocent bystanders and not at all involved in that incident.
Yes.
And so you were like, I feel like they're being punished for just being really unlucky. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that both of them felt like they got good data out of it and they were still doing like good work in the car. So good for them.
I think they both, like, if they hadn't been a lap down, would have worked themselves like up into the points.
Oh yeah.
But because they were a lap down, it counted for nothing, and that sucks.
Yeah, very sad. But then we had so many retirements that you were almost like, they're kind of working their way into the points because
Yeah, at one point Sarah texted like Danny and Oscar are gonna get points just from everybody else DNFing.
Daniel Ricciardo, or no, okay, so George Russell retired, Alex Albon retired, Charles Leclerc retired,
Kevin Magnussen.
Kevin
retired.
Magnussen. I feel like
Both
there are more
alphas.
retirements. Yes, Valtteri and Zhou Yu. So that's 6 people out of the race.
Yeah.
Like,
And yet
holy
Logan
moly.
Sargent did not get a point.
No points. I know he was very close, wasn't he? He was like 11th or 12th. He
12th?
was very close.
Best 12th out of 14.
You know what I love is that James Hinchcliffe is like a full Logan stan. That's what I've realized
Didn't
now.
notice that, really?
From watching the post-race show in Austin and the like race and post-race today, like he's always like, you know what this means? Logan is very close to a point, or he's really like, he's a big defender. Yeah, he's always out here like he is just trying to show that he can keep up with Alex, and he did that today. And you're like, did he though? Love the love, but I don't think it's right. No.
Well, that's funny because James Hinchcliffe isn't even American. He's Canadian.
I know. He might, well, it makes me be like, does he know Logan? Is he, it seems like he's truly a stan. Like he's like, just wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's like, it's hard. He's got to do that mind game, but he's getting there. And you're like, okay.
I will say, I feel like James Hinchcliffe is just like a stan of F1
He's a
racing
stan of
in
everyone.
general.
Yes, I love it.
I mean, his full-time job is IndyCar commentating because he does, I think, every single race for IndyCar.
He should full-time commentate for F1 TV.
And this is just like his side gig when IndyCar is not happening. And you can tell based off of the way he talks, he religiously follows Formula One, which I love, and it makes him a great commentator.
But also, I feel like he does a really nice job of like bringing. I like the way he brings. Ooh. Hello.
Sarah!
Hi.
Welcome. How's it going?
Amazing.
Good.
I just got home from work. You have 16 to 20 minutes with me, and that is when my fries will be done in the oven.
My fries will be done. My fries will be done, and I will have to go.
Well, thank you for gracing us with your presence.
What are we talking about?
Well, currently we're standing James Hinchcliffe.
You haven't even talked about the race at all, have you?
No, we did the whole start.
Oh, okay. James Hinchcliffe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, love it.
I think
love
he
it.
does I like that he's constantly like he's like, I'm not a Formula One driver. I've never been one, but I understand, like he has empathy and like has some insight into the mindset of a race driver and like being there on race weekends. And that's a lot of what he's talking about. But then I feel like he does a really good job of being like open to like, maybe this is why it's happening, but I don't know definitively. Whereas sometimes I feel like when it's an old F1 driver, they're like, this is what's going on. And you're like, you don't even know. Everything is completely different since you drove, or like you drove for 2 years, not very well. So I don't know that I need to be.
You know what? I do like.
Is that a little Julian Palmer call out there, Grace?
I didn't say his name.
I like James Hinchcliffe, but I think David Coulthard is my favorite.
What?
I feel like
nobody likes him.
Used to be my favorite, but he's so like, I guess he's giving a very like Lando energy where you're just like, have a little bit of sympathy.
I think that's why I like him. He's like really blunt. And is he Scottish?
He's Scottish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's Scottish, and he was at Red Bull. So
okay, but the race.
We were just talking about how we thought Danny and Oscar might have been able to make it into the points.
I told you this is what I was thinking all day. Cars were dropping like flies. And literally, when George Russell dropped out on like lap 50 something, I was like, this is it. It's happening.
Okay.
Literally only like 3 more cars have to drop out and Danny's in 10th.
Yeah, Sarah texted in the group chat, it's happening with no context.
It's happening.
And so I got to my orchestra rehearsal and just saw that message.
You were
come
like,
up. I was
Perez
like,
is
what
winning.
happened?
I don't know what more you needed from me. I don't know how you
it was
didn't get
obvious
it from that.
I feel like I think that punishment that they had to basically start a lap down was way too harsh.
I still don't really understand what happened. Like they just started in the pit lane.
But
Shouldn't it be like a normal pit lane start?
Lap down because they can't do the formation lap if they're starting in the pit lane.
But they did the formation lap. They did the formation,
and then they drove
lap,
into
and
the
then
pit
they
lane.
went into the pit lane. We need someone smarter than us to teach us this.
I know.
We need
And
someone
lucky
who knows
for
wheel.
us, I have a little
We need
surprise
James
for you
Hinchcliffe
guys.
to join
Stop.
the pod.
James Hinchcliffe. Beep, 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 beep.
Stop.
Oh my gosh. No, he's not here to tell us. So we'll have to send Anne on assignment and then she can report back next week.
Anne is on assignment. No.
Do my best.
That was crazy though, because I mean, on the times, like on the side, the whole race, Danny was like averaging a minute behind the rest of the field. But then they'd show him and he was like running right behind Yuki the whole time. And
and Lando and Oscar were next to each other.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like they both could have, like, whatever.
I legitimately thought that the timing sheet was wrong.
I love that you thought that.
And then they talked about it in the commentary. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No escape.
But at least it's like a hopeful result. Like, the car was good.
They both were doing
generally.
Well.
Yeah. The crash at the beginning was really crazy.
Crazy.
I'm sure we already talked about it.
Loose wheel.
The loose wheel. Yeah.
The loose wheel.
That's about the extent that we talked about, Sarah.
Okay, got it.
I feel like the craziest part was just Leclerc crashing into a wall and being like, why do I have such bad luck? And then, I really enjoyed during the red flag when they were like, Leclerc is trying to get himself back into this race.
That was my favorite part. He's like running around talking to the marshals. I'm like, what are you gonna do about what happened to his
I was really giving
car?
George Russell at Silverstone being like, I'm gonna get back in my car. I drove it to the pits. Let me in the race. And they were like, that is not how this works.
Should we talk about George today?
He is let's say last season, Crashgate. This season, he's just whinging.
Radiogate.
Instantly.
Radiogate.
I think that things are coming to a head vis-a-vis Lewis and George.
Yeah.
Well, and also George needs
now
to realize
Lewis is doing better. Like I think like George was like, oh, I'm good. Lewis is washed up. Not true. And like George was like feeling all types of way about himself, all excited because he was like, I can drive this car. Lewis is having a meltdown. And now
George is having a meltdown.
Lewis is figuring out how to drive this car. He's feeling confident. He's like back to, like 2021 Lewis, where he's like, maybe I don't have the best car, but I can drive this car well. Anyway. I just feel like now George is like kind of throwing a fit about it.
Yes. I mean, he is. And it was interesting when he was like, are we racing or are we working as a team?
Or are we working together?
But then it was like, but your car is much slower. Like it was really, initially I was like, maybe he is really faster. And then it was like.
Hamilton totally pulled away from him.
Yeah. But also, I feel like George needs to realize that Mercedes' goal during that race was not to help him, it was to help Lewis, because their goal is for Lewis to get second in the Drivers' Championship. And so, like,
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
Mercedes' goal is to do whatever they can.
Mercedes' goal should be to
check behind.
Is Mercedes like very secure in where they are in the
Constructors.
constructors?
They're
I don't
Because I
not.
think
so.
Ferrari's in third, so I think they actually are.
I don't think there's that much of a gap between them, though.
Yeah,
I'll look it
Ferrari's
up.
coming for them, not with the way they've been taking their races
Is
recently with
McLaren
only
in
one
fourth?
driver.
Well, they got more points today.
McLaren and Aston Martin are very close together.
Okay, because I feel like they should be worried about McLaren.
Okay,
I think you might be right.
Mercedes.
Because, Norris just beat Carlos in the drivers'
Oh,
championship.
no way. Wait, he's been
Mercedes
on
382.
It's
five?
very close.
Ferrari 362. McLaren 282.
Yeah. See, they're
Oh.
not that close.
You're right. They're not that close. Okay.
But I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
Isn't that
Ferrari
unhinged though?
scored
That
more
like
points
Ferrari,
today.
how is Ferrari doing so much better? They
I
have two
think
competent drivers, and they
because
did a
we
mediocre
expect
season the whole
them
time.
to be doing so much better, but they're kind of sliding under the radar. I feel like getting like between third and sixth in every race.
Yeah. Or
And
Did not
the other
start.
teams have had or did not start, which is rough. So I do think they're going to start slipping. But like, Aston Martin and McLaren both had like really rough spots. And
Yes,
Mercedes
agree.
too had a rough start to the season.
Yeah.
So it kind of
Um,
makes sense to me.
can I just quickly interject and say the battle for fourth place in the drivers is insane.
it's very tight. I know.
Fernando
Who?
has 198. Lando has 195. Carlos has 192.
This is great. I love this.
We love.
It's
We
good for my
love-
It's got to be
fantasy
Lando,
team, too.
right?
I think well, I don't know.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
Alonso did great today.
It's all about momentum.
Lando
It's
has the
all-
momentum. Here's the real question.
Yes, he does.
If Max was in Lando's car, would Max be winning? And if Lando
Oh.
was in Max's car, would Lando be winning?
I
Hard to
don't
say.
care for hypotheticals.
I saw a reporter legitimately ask Max, like, I heard a rumor that you will be driving the AlphaTauri. And he was like, I have
What?
not heard that rumor, and it's absolutely not true.
And the reporter's like, oh wait, I think I got that backwards.
That's supposed to be for your teammate.
No. Oh, Checo had a good day today though.
He did.
Though he couldn't quite get there in the end. I will say the last lap was really exciting, very fun to watch. It's nice
Insane.
to have really good racing through the whole thing, like till the
Yeah.
end.
I agree.
Yeah. So I definitely enjoyed that. It was funny, like looking at the times, and even the commentators, I think, said this. They were like, this race for third is like the only interesting thing happening right now.
Nobody else was
Because the
anywhere
rest
close
of
to
the
within
grid
a
had
second.
been so spaced out. Like they were all like 3 to 10 seconds from the cars around them, which was crazy. I feel like that's very unusual.
But
Yeah.
that did make for a very exciting end with
Yeah.
Max, or with the Checo and Fernando.
It reminded me of, didn't Sebastian Vettel have like a similar fight with somebody right at the end a few years ago? I feel like it was him and Fernando or something.
I feel like it was Alonso
Over
as
the
well, and it
line.
was last year.
At
It's always
Coda?
Alonso because he is a racer at heart.
I thought it was a night race or something.
I thought it
I
was
don't know.
Coda, and TV direction like completely missed it.
You guys have 10 minutes left on your pod.
Okay. So Danny Rick, he does seem like he's on his game. He's coming back around.
Yeah.
We love that.
AlphaTauri just seems to have suddenly
Yeah, they made a step
found a
up.
fast car.
Yuki
Yeah, did they have some
seems like
secret
he's having a little
upgrades?
struggles.
I don't know. I feel like
They
Yuki
do. They did.
drove really good this weekend.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Really
I mean,
good.
P6 in the sprint, 9th in the race.
Yeah.
No big incidents. Last weekend was
I don't know
a
why
little
you
rough.
hate Yuki, Grace.
I don't hate Yuki. I actually like him. I just feel like he's like he seems like he struggles a bit under pressure.
Okay, insight. I was listening to an interview with Christian Horner today,
Yes.
and they were
I'm gonna
talking
listen to that.
about
I just have not
how
had time.
much everybody loves Yuki and how funny he is on the radio. And Christian said that he learned English. He like came to the UK to learn English and learned it at some specific place where like everybody's swearing all the time and was like in racing. So then he just thought that
That's
was
how
like
people talk.
that's how people talked. So then the first time on the radio, he's like, "Oh, my back end is off, MFR." He's just like throwing them around. And that's just how he talks. So don't take it personally.
Stop,
That's how he
Sarah.
learned English.
In the
I think
episode
that's in
of
Netflix.
Drive to Survive about Yuki, the first season that he's driving for AlphaTauri, there's a like montage compilation near the beginning of the episode where it's all of these different drivers being like, I love Yuki, he's so funny.
Everyone loves Yuki.
Everyone
They're
loves
all
Yuki.
best friends. They all love each
They're
other.
all best friends.
They go home and they have sleepovers during
Yeah.
the off season.
Obviously.
They're-
Okay. Who sent
Okay,
the thing
I
that
have
was
to
like
say-
which drivers follow each other on social media? Because that really
That
hurt
was
me.
crazy.
I
That
was like-
crazy. But okay,
Because
I have to interject something that I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a video that went around on Twitter from the like room where they were all getting ready for the drivers parade. And
I have to check on my food.
okay.
and Max is standing off to the back and Charles walks in and there's you can hear Max say like, hey Charlie, I have a spot for you next to me.
He does not call him Charlie.
That
Everybody loves Max. He's a
it
sweetheart.
legitimately sounded like that in the
Stop.
video and it was
Okay.
so cute.
I love that. But so I feel like I loved Hamilton's helmet. Sarah, you see it? You see the helmet? You love
The Senna
The
helmet.
Brazilian flag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loved it.
Love.
Did you guys see the
Oh,
pictures of
but-
the giant Senna mural by the track?
No, but I love it.
No.
So cool. You gotta look it up. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I just wanted to talk about the tracksuit. I wanted to shout out the tracksuit.
Oh, heck yeah.
It was so
So
good. His little vintage, like soccer, football tracksuit. That's all. But
Love
just
it.
a Lewis Hamilton Fashion Week update.
Little
Fully
Lewis
embracing his
fashion.
Brazilian roots.
Mhm.
Love.
Sorry, Grace.
No. But that made me start thinking about the fact that Max is like fully partnered with a Brazilian woman.
Yeah. She
And
was there
no
this
one is
weekend.
like, Max is a child of Brazil. Everyone's like, no, he's Dutch. No.
That man
don't-
is Dutch. That man is not my father. What's that?
I don't know
in
that
that
Nelson
movie?
Piquet is that
I don't
popular of a
know.
figure in F1 in Brazil.
No,
Is
he
Nelson Piquet Brazilian?
seems-
Uh-huh.
and he's Kelly's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also
I-
the one that used the Brazilian equivalent of the N-word when talking about
Right.
Lewis Hamilton.
So,
Right. I did
Yeah.
know
Not
that
very
we
well
don't like
liked.
him.
but it is a little funny.
It is a little funny.
People are not like, Max is like a second son here. Like, I feel like when Carlos and Fernando are in Mexico, everyone's like they're almost Mexican, and you're like, they're literally the colonizer, but people love them because they speak Spanish.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say to that one. Did you guys see the video of the roof of the
Yes,
grandstand flying off
crazy.
on Friday during quali, or like when that
Yeah.
storm rolled in? And
Uh-huh.
I will say there were comments on the video calling out, The FIA,
weather.
I don't know, Formula
No.
One, yeah, calling out the weather for being
Unsafe.
cancel the weather. But no, because it's like
Cancel the weather.
it's like rainy season, hurricane season. I don't know in Brazil.
Yeah, they were like, why does the FIA choose to do the race at this time of year?
exactly the
But it
same
makes it
exact
pretty
thing they
interesting.
said about Qatar. They were like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this race now? It's the hottest time of the year. I don't know if that's true. I just made that up. But
Well, it's like, must be similar with Suzuka, because Suzuka, it's usually
always
raining as
raining.
well.
It makes you wonder if
They
the
like that.
FIA loves the drama.
They live for the drama.
all
They
about
know
the
that
drama.
people tune in for the drama.
They know the vibes, and the girlies love the vibes.
Well, and then what was that? Someone, I think, sent a video to the chat that was Lando Norris at a press conference where he was like, don't twist my words, because I know
Yeah.
someone's going to say this.
Yeah.
I said, we give our opinions. They don't have to make changes right away. I didn't say they don't listen to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was that in reference to the weather as
I
well?
don't know what that was in reference to, actually. I'm sure we must
I
have
think it
missed
was the
something.
sprint race question.
Oh, got it. Yeah, because it
Nobody
seems
likes
like
the sprint.
Max doesn't like the sprint, right?
Did you see? Okay, did you guys see his actual response to that question?
Max's?
He
Yeah.
said he loved the sprint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sarcastically.
Yes, just
He says he
completely
loves it.
dripping in sarcasm. He's just
I
like,
love the sprint.
I love it.
I love
It's
that we're here.
great.
It's
And that's
awesome.
all he
Not
said.
very Dutch of him.
And Tom Clarkson is just
Or
sitting there
very Dutch of him.
awkwardly, like, how do I respond to this now?
Yeah.
I liked the video with Max, Danny, and Hamilton. I think this was a Sarah vid where it's like Hamilton's trying to steal your man.
Hamilton
Because-
is the king of Riz, and Hamilton is like looking Daniel up and down. I think they're talking about, they're sitting next to each other on the couch at
Fashion.
the press conference. There, because Danny, I must have been in Austin, because I feel like Danny's wearing his cowboy getup, and you can tell Lewis is like, that outfit, you know, he's like looking him up and down. They're smiling at
feel
each
like-
other. It's full flirting. And then it cuts to Max being like, on the other side of the couch.
Speaking of press conferences, I just have to say, Lance Stroll was a mood in press conferences this weekend.
I did not see it. Tell us about
Oh.
it.
So
I assumed he's just been getting his dad to pay the bill so he doesn't have to go to any more media.
in the like Thursday press conference that everybody goes to every other week, he was just like sitting, lounging back on the couch with his legs just spread apart the entire time of just like, I don't care about this. I don't want to be here.
And then he got
when he was in
third.
the like top 3 of qualifying press conference, when you would expect him to be like very happy, he lucked out with getting in the top 3 of qualifying. He was almost in the same mood and just like lounged out and just
I
like,
don't care.
I'm
whatever.
waiting for his
It
resignation
wasn't a very,
letter.
I didn't think it was a very good lap anyways.
Well, I gotta go get my food.
So we're gonna say goodbye to Sarah. Take a
But this
quick
was
break.
lovely.
Maybe have our first ad read. Just kidding.
LOL.
And we'll
Bye.
join you again soon in a second. Bye,
Happy
Sarah.
racing.
Happy potatoes.
You don't know Wheel F1 is sponsored today by Jamie's Helmet Designs. Are you in need of a colorful, vibrant, artistic helmet for your racing career? Look no
Did
further.
you want it to be ceramic? He's got you covered.
Look no further than our friend Jamie.
Welcome back. So we've talked about the beginning of the race. We've talked about some of the weekend PR. Okay, we talked about the weather. The middle stint. Okay, so Carlos initially was complaining about his clutch, but then at the end he was like, I can't even I can't downshift right
yeah.
now, which that seemed scary.
Just a little. Oh, man.
But he made it to the end. I feel like people were like,
Mhm.
Carlos is about to retire the car. And I was like,
No.
no.
Which, if he had, what an awful day for Ferrari.
Yeah. Alpine had a pretty good day today as well. Because Gasly was right behind Carlos. And
Mhm.
Ocon made it into the points as well. And they've just had
Is he 10?
not a good season. So for them, that's a good day, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I will say, I don't know if I could make it as a Ferrari fan. It just
Stop.
seems like
You're literally a
rough
Checo fan.
way. But at least you always know that he has a good car right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a Ferrari fan, I'm here for the fashion.
That you
And
can't afford.
also my loyalty lies with Carlos Sainz. So if he goes somewhere else, I'm leaving with them.
Also, by fashion, I'm going to assume you're not talking about this Charles pants that Sarah put in the group chat the other day.
Yeah, it was Charles in like a cowboy outfit with like bleached modeled jeans. It was not
They're
it.
so bad.
So bad. Love it for him. No. No. But I mean, Ferrari's out here making their drivers look hot. That's all they really care about. The car is kind of the secondary thing for them. They're a fashion company first, and then secondarily, they're a racing company.
They're a fashion company who
They're a
makes stuff
fashion
that nobody
company.
can afford and then doesn't let their drivers have their own
Yeah.
line
They're
with
more of a
brands.
fashion company than AlphaTauri is.
You do know there are legitimately AlphaTauri stores.
I know that. I do know that. But also, they literally basically changed the name of the fashion brand to AlphaTauri so that the fashion brand could sponsor them. It's money laundering. No. Allegedly. And also I'm joking.
But they were supposed to have announced their new sponsor name.
Yeah. It's
thought-
Daniel Ricciardo. It's Daniel Avocado. What if they did get sponsored by avocados? I think that'd be really great. And then you know how on the Williams, they have the battery, like the Duracell, that area could be an avocado pit and the car could be green. That would be.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see a funny tweet from somebody that was like, hey, Red Bull, Checo was on the screen almost the entire race. It's good advertising.
Okay. I guess in a way. Yeah. Yeah. And then, I think the big thing at the end of this race was just Checo and Fernando wheel to wheel racing right down to the wire. And honestly, I couldn't tell where like the end line was. So I was like, oh my God, wait, maybe he did pass him. And they were like, no, absolutely not. Fernando won. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
I was just sitting waiting for orchestra rehearsal to start, like constantly refreshing my phone of like, can I get new information? What's going on? And I was like, great, this is awesome. When Checo had passed Fernando with like one lap to go, I was like, it's done. Checo's got third place. He's got the podium. And I showed it to my friend who's sitting next to me that's watched them a Drive to Survive. And then with the full range of emotions, when I saw that Fernando had gotten past him again. At first, I was like, wait, did that actually happen? And then I was excited that the racing had been so good, but I was also very
Yeah. The racing was very good.
Seeing
Yeah.
how happy both Checo and Fernando were afterwards made me feel even better about it. Of like, they just had fun.
It was definitely a good day for Perez too. Like he seemed like he was one with the car again.
Mhm.
So
And I
good
think
for
he
him.
would have shown that in Mexico if he hadn't just gone for that dive
Oh,
bomb on
yeah.
the first lap when he was.
Are you ready to talk about Mexico?
I've ended my grieving period. I'm ready to talk about Mexico
Yes.
and how Checo Perez should have won the Mexican GP this year.
It's such an interesting thing too, because it's like, I understand him being like, I needed to give it everything I had.
I
But
have
then
this
you're also
one
like,
shot. I've got to take the lead and hold on with everything I have.
you're just sitting there and you're like, Charles was not going to.
You needed to
was not
slow
going to
down to
take
make
that
sure
away
you
from
could make
you.
that corner. And by doing so, you were
In the long
not
run.
going to get the lead. But
I missed you, Annie. I'm
I was
struggling.
just saying, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was just saying that, like, in order to have made that corner, Checo would have needed to slow down. Otherwise, he's going to turn into Charles. And then by slowing down to make the corner, he would have ended up third at least.
Yeah, but that's the literal first lap of the race.
I know. And like, there's no way he would not have been able to pass Charles at some point if he was
That's all
third
I'm
behind
saying.
Charles. And I mean, well, yeah, and that would have been his best finish in a Mexican GP ever, because the last 2 years he's been third with Red Bull, not second. So that was part of the, like, what made it so devastating is not only was he going for the lead, but also if he hadn't made that split second decision that he did, he could have very well had his best finish ever. And knowing that there's a high likelihood by the time we get to Mexico next year, he's not going to be driving for Red Bull. So this is like his last
I love that
chance.
you were like, actually, Checo is probably out. Do you think he's going to Williams? Give us the lowdown, Annie.
I think it depends on the next two races. I think if he continues the form he had this weekend, no.
Okay.
But I also think Williams haven't announced because of the chance that exists.
Okay. Yeah, I think to me, I'm like, it seems unlikely that he will be at Red Bull next year, but hard to say.
Also,
maybe he'll go to Aston Martin.
I think that if Danny, I think the only world that happens is if Lawrence Stroll sells the team and Lance Stroll is not driving for them next year.
Honestly, I feel like Lawrence Stroll likes F1 enough that he would be like, Lance has decided he's not passionate about it anymore, but I still am.
But I mean, Checo and Fernando on a team together, that would be
Dream
epic.
team.
So much fun. Checo and Alex together, pretty epic. Super
that would
fun.
probably be a very fun team as well.
Either this year or the year before, Checo had Alex for Secret Santa. And he gave him a couple of like crap gifts where one was like these sandals that all of the Red Bull drivers got. But then the one actual nice gift is it was a certificate of a like golf lesson from him.
Alex gave that to Checo?
No, Checo gave that to Alex.
Why would Alex want that?
Because they get to go have fun golfing together.
Okay. I was like, his girlfriend is a... What's the right word for that? She's a serious golfer.
It's the gift of quality time, Grace.
Okay.
Know your love languages.
Yeah, but they're already having sleepovers, so they were going to hang out even without the certificate. I don't know. It's giving like, I have 4 kids. I couldn't afford to buy anything. No.
He did definitely the year before then give Lance a bottle of his own brand of tequila.
Yeah, but they literally all do that. Just so you know, they're all giving out their brands of alcohol. Oh, I really want to try Lewis Hamilton's new like alcohol list tequila.
Is it agave based? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I signed up to get emails about it, and maybe I put in a weird email address or something, but I did not get emails.
Oh, that sucks. Has it gone
yeah,
on
what the
sale yet?
heck? Well, they made it seem like it was going to go on sale when he was at the Mexican Grand Prix. And then I never got anything about it. Come on, guys. Okay. Don't worry. I'm on it. This is
Keep us
important stuff,
informed.
guys.
We'll have to have another taste test.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, because when I signed up for it, it was like, don't worry, it will be available in 24 hours. So I was like, great, I'll send you an email
Oh,
and then you let me
wow.
know. Yeah. Okay. There's two things here. One is available, $40 US. Amalve Ambar.
Ooh. What was the other one?
And the other one's Amalve Blanco, but it's not available yet. Shipment begins November 13th. Should I ship this to mom and dad's house?
Do it during Christmas. We'll
Yeah.
taste test. Yeah.
We can taste test it.
Totally.
We should see how many F1 drivers' alcohol brands we can get and taste for Christmas.
Yes. Let's do it.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm buying it. It's going to mom and dad's house.
We'll have to
I
warn
also
them.
just I recently sent a birthday present for Leon, so don't give that to Leon.
Oh, I don't have a birthday present for Leon or Corey yet.
Make it F1 themed or alcohol themed. No. Okay. What else? I feel like the craziest part was just like the storm in qualifying. Charles out.
Honestly, the storm was the craziest part of watching qualifying because you could just see this guy getting progressively darker. And then when they started Q3, like there were parts of the track where it looked like a overcast but not abnormal afternoon, and then parts where it legitimately looked like it was 9 o'clock at night because it was so dark from the storm.
Yeah,
and then the video afterwards of the roof that blew off the stands was insane.
And I feel like I saw a video that looked like it was from like in some hospitality type area where there was like a window or a door that had blown open and
I missed that one.
they were like holding up pieces of plastic. It seemed a bit wild, but yeah, Brazil seems like a very rad race.
Yeah. Apparently there were some people who like broke part of the fencing to get on the track before the end of the race today.
Oh, that's so scary.
I know.
I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah. At least they did actually get to the track like those protesters in Silverstone a year or two ago.
You're anti the protesters, Anne?
I'm not anti-protesting. I think that protesting on a Formula One track when a race is starting is dangerous.
A good way to make your point.
Sure,
it's not a good protest if you're not interrupting.
There's a difference between interrupting and putting your life at risk and the life of the drivers.
Is that what those woodchucks are doing? Yeah, but overall, I feel like good race.
Fun race.
Oh, okay. Let's talk briefly about Las Vegas since it's coming up.
Do we have to?
I feel like I'm seeing so much stuff basically saying that like most stuff is only 25% sold for Vegas. Tickets, hospitality experiences, the whole thing. And it feels...
it you or Sarah who sent that reel talking about it?
Probably me. Because the algorithm is like, Grace is very interested in this topic. Because I am. Because I do have to say, like, I feel like I have F1 friends, and I've talked to a few people who've been like, oh, I thought about going, but I don't know anyone who's going.
It's just so insanely expensive
Mm-hmm.
that most normal people are just like, well, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a grandstand ticket in addition to the cost of getting there and finding housing or staying a ways away and having to drive in every day.
Yeah.
Like if you add up all of those things, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it's not a coincidence that all of the teams and different partnerships in F1 are all like doing giveaways for Vegas.
Yes, I've been seeing so many giveaways. Like everyone is like giveaway, giveaway, giveaway. Then I saw something for like a fan experience type thing, and they were saying like it was $125, and it was in Vegas. But then I went to read it because I was like, oh, intriguing. And it's literally just like a place with food and drinks and televisions.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what?
Why?
I don't know. Wild.
Why would you spend the money to get to Vegas and be in Vegas during the Formula One race just to watch it on TV?
I don't know. And I wonder if maybe they have to, I don't know. It seems wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Huge bummer. So crazy. Wild. Yeah, but I feel like there's about to be a ton of really cheap tickets for the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Maybe that's what we should really be doing is get some cheap housing outside of Vegas. Just try and get last second tickets.
I know. I work that weekend, but it wasn't Dad thinking about doing something. We should find out what's happening.
A friend of his thought he might have like an in for tickets or like be able to get free tickets somehow or something like that. But I don't think Dad ever heard back from his friend.
But, so yeah, that's Las Vegas. I'm so intrigued to see. I think actually probably, well, that's another thing I was reading. People were saying like the track will be very cold. It's never really been used as a track and it's brand new. So there'll be no rubber down. So they're just going to be slipping and sliding.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's Vegas at night. So it's a desert. It
could be very interesting. Could be very fun. Interesting. No. I hope they put up some really soft barriers.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's going to even make practice interesting for the first one, at least.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Who stays on the track?
Yeah. But honestly, I think they should get rid of Miami and Las Vegas.
And get some actual good races in the US.
Yeah.
I wish they were doing what's the one in Wisconsin that IndyCar goes to?
Circuit of the Americas. No, but Road America.
Awesome. Road America.
I know. It's very similar.
Road America. That would be so cool.
That would be wild. Yeah. Road America. How about Laguna Seca? It's my deepest cut.
What about a
bring back the Long Beach Grand Prix?
Yeah.
Maybe they have maybe IndyCar has exclusive rights. That would be smart of IndyCar if they do.
I think the bigger deal is actually probably circuits have to reach a certain quality standard for F1 to be able to use them. And so I don't know if Road America and Long Beach actually meet that standard. And it would probably cost the track a lot of money to fix it.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know.
But
I don't know. I want to understand the finances more.
I know. But just imagine the circus of Formula One coming to middle of the woods, Wisconsin. How fun would that be? And I think you would enjoy that.
Year. As a Wisconsinite, I can see why you would enjoy that.
I cannot believe you just called a Wisconsinite.
I'm sorry.
I'm not a cheesehead.
I feel like I want to understand the finances more because I know that obviously a big part of the way F1 is making money is by basically getting countries or cities to pay to host these races, which is so wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're also getting all the ticket sales and they're getting the TV rights and they're getting merchandise and.
Well, wouldn't ticket sales go to the venue?
Does it? I don't know. Somebody tell me. Do you think that the venue gets all of the ticket sales?
Isn't that how they make the money back? They're paying to Formula One to have a race.
I don't know, Annie. No, I thought they made the money back from the tourists
Concessions.
being in the area and taxing like hotel rooms and maybe ticket prices. And I don't think
I don't know.
I have no idea. See, if you understand the finances of this, please send us an email and come on our podcast because I actually really want to know this. I think
I would
it's
love to understand
super
it too.
interesting because it makes me be like, from a PR side, I wonder if you're worse off, but this is my own perspective, like I'm like, of course you should actually make it more accessible to the people because that makes people like it and want to go see it. And the more they can like actually connect one-on-one as a fan, the more invested they feel. So when you actually make these races like Las Vegas that are totally inaccessible, like I feel like it does more harm than good. But I think F1's perspective is like, you'll watch it on TV, which I guess that's pretty true, but it's just sad. I think especially in this perspective as Americans get more into the sport, the fact that we have 3 races, and I feel like Austin is already like quite pricey. And then
I mean,
Las Vegas and
$300
Miami
just
are
for
like
GA.
unhinged. Yeah. But Europe has all of these F1 races that are really affordable because they're historic races. And those tracks don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I think those tracks don't pay as much to host those races.
You're right.
So I think it's a bit sad that this is the state of America. And isn't that just the way it is? Because I should stop this rant where I am right now, but it does feel like very like, when we're in Europe, we're talking to someone about like, oh, Americans don't get vacation time. We have to pay for our own health care, all this stuff where you're just like, I'm already being nickeled and dimed. And for things I actually need. And then for things that are just fun and for pleasure, it's also so crazy. Like
Well,
there's no consumer protections here.
I also get annoyed whenever Europeans try to say that like the US has too many races and that we shouldn't ever have any more than just like 1 or 2 races. Except like, if you compare the size of the United States to the size of Europe, it's almost a comparable size if you like don't include Russia.
Yeah.
And
yes,
so
I understand you.
I mean, if you count up how many races there are over the span of Europe compared to our 3 in the United States, there's a big difference. And I'm not saying that any European races need to disappear. And I'm not saying we need to have 12 races in America. I'm just saying that like that needs to be taken into consideration when you're talking about how many races should be in different areas.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, I'm not trying to say like, oh, we should only have Circuit of the Americas. I just don't like the way that we've gone with Miami and Las Vegas. Like Miami also seems like such a dud.
I also think it would be one thing if we had Austin and then we had either Vegas or Miami and then another good race.
Well, and I'm not
Instead of
even
having 2
anti-Vegas. Like I'm like, I think Vegas actually hugely fun idea. The execution seems like it sucked.
Well, and also, don't you remember months ago there were stories coming out about how any restaurants or hotels that had
We're gonna be
views of the
charged.
track, if they didn't pay to the organizers, we're gonna have like stuff put up to block the views.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is one of the like things that highlights exactly why Vegas is gonna suck as a race. Is that they're just like they're making it so inaccessible because they're trying to make so much money from it.
And I feel like all the stuff I'm seeing where they're talking about what's going on with the strip right now, people are basically like, they've made the strip like extremely unenjoyable for weeks and months leading up to the race. So then you're like, does this actually help bring in money? I mean, I don't know. I can't delve too deep into that, but it does seem wild.
And well, I know that in Monaco, I think like the week before and the week after, things are substantially impacted.
Oh, sure.
In Monaco. But that's different than months.
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what happens.
But you know what's coming before Vegas?
What?
The golf tournament.
The golf tournament? I don't know what this is. I'm not keeping up with golfers.
Put this in the group chat, Grace.
I missed it.
It's Alex, Lando, Carlos, and who's the fourth golfer? There's another golfer. Anyways, those four, along with 4 professional golfers, are competing in a live streamed on Netflix for charity. Or I don't know if it's even for charity, but live streamed on Netflix golf tournament.
How did I
before
not know
Vegas.
this? Because I love this
I don't
idea.
know.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm into that. I thought, yeah. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Well, this was lovely chatting with you. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see the PR for Las Vegas. I think it's been incredible. So
Yes, that
Love
will
it. We'll be
hopefully
there.
fun, even if the stands are half empty.
yeah, who cares? We'll be watching. We will still be supporting F1 TV. Whoops.
All
Okay.
right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye.
Bye.